Pisces is a water sign. It is a month that we're going to be tapping deeper into our emotions because Pisces is all about deep emotions. And so we're also going to tap into more of like an empath kind of energy to kind of go through what we're going to focus on this month, which is coping with seasonal shedding. Welcome to the new moon in Pisces. This is the end of an astrological year, which is really nice. We can look at it in the way that we look at the new year, where at the end of December, we look at everything that we want to shed and let go of in order to create space for new. During these deeply emotional water months, we have an opportunity to shed light into those places that we tend to put into the shadow. So this month, when we're dealing with stressful hair shedding or seasonal hair shedding, we're going to try to change the way that we view it and use it as a way to work with it as opposed to stressing out and perpetuating the problem. Seasonal hair shedding is something that I talk about with all of my clients. It's something that a lot of people experience, at least at some point in their life, but it is something that we experience on an annual basis. Scientifically, the hair on our head is there just to protect us from the sun. So in the summer months, we tend to have more fuller hair and it grows much more rapidly. But in the winter months, once the sun is away and the vitamin D starts to lower, we tend to see more of our hair fall out. This is totally normal. It's actually normal to lose anywhere from 50 to 150 strands of hair a day. And that's when your optimal hair health is like at the best. So when we're dealing with seasonal shedding, it's really important for us to slow down and understand what's really happening. So one of the things that I like to tell my clients is our hair goes through a natural hair cycle. There's 3 phases, but the most important phases are the growth phase and the shedding phase. The growth phase is called the anagen phase, and this is when our hair is growing rapidly, the hair follicles producing a lot of hair, and so this is the new growth. When we're dealing with the telogen phase, which is usually in the winter months, this is the shedding phase. So it's not all of our hair falling out at once, of course, it's one follicle at a time. And so when our hair starts to shed more, a lot of us panic and a lot of us stress out and we start to think that something is wrong. But the truth is, all that's really happening is the hair is falling out in order to create space for the new to come in through the anagen phase. So it's a totally natural cycle and it's something that we can all really connect with, and I'm going to share a few things that I think will really be beneficial in helping you cope with when your hair starts to shed. How can we change our perspective on hair shedding? Instead of creating stress and anxiety over it, we can come at it with a new perspective. The number one step is total acceptance. We have to accept that this is a natural rhythm of the season and it's part of what our body and our hair needs to go through. Another way that we can view it is having it be an intentional shedding. Like when we're in the anagen phase, and it's almost like the new moon, where it's like all the things that we want to call in, all the growth and the renewal. This is something that we can relate to with the moon phases. And then during the telogen phase, what can we be intentional about during the shedding? Like, what do we want to shed? What do we want to release? Pisces is all about embracing the new. And during this window in time, how can we alleviate the pain and suffering that we have attached to when our hair falls out? Instead of stressing out about it, which perpetuates the problem, we have an opportunity to really look at the ways that we can encourage a healthy head of hair, especially during this time when we feel that our hair is not healthy at all. During the seasonal transition periods, I highly suggest considering these tips when taking your hair care to the next level. One of my favorite ways to deal with shedding is by brushing. Most of you who have been following along know that I'm like a huge believer in brushing rituals, and I do believe that when we're doing this kind of shedding, it's an important thing to incorporate, because a lot of times brushing helps the whole phase move a little bit quicker, but it also helps stimulate the blood flow in the scalp. It's going to help the follicle grow healthy hair at a much more rapid pace. So the brush that I like to use the most is anything that has a natural bristle brush, but I like to use Roxy Jane Hunt's brush because it's pretty strong enough to get into the scalp, and I can feel my scalp tingle after, which is a really good sign. You want that increase in circulation, you want to feel the tingling, you want to know that your scalp is getting the attention that it needs, but then you're also pulling the loose hairs that might be attached to the other hairs on the head out. So you're getting rid of the hair so that the new hair can fully come back in its healthiest natural state. Another thing that I like to suggest is taking supplements. For those of you that don't take any supplements at all, this is the time of the year that might be a good time to do so. There are supplements specifically for targeting hair growth. If you've heard of them, they're biotin, Viviscal. There's also natural supplements that I really like. If you're into adaptogens, I really like Mucuna and I like Hishuwu, because these are all geared towards really helping the hair to grow. I do say that this is a great time to also up the vitamin D. Vitamin D is vital for our hair health. If we are not taking vitamin D or we're low in vitamin D, a lot of times it could lead to much more hair shedding, and it could be a bigger problem than just the normal seasonal shedding. So especially for those of us that don't get that much sunshine in the winter months, vitamin D is going to be a really great ally. So these are all really great supplements to take internally, but I'm also a huge believer in what we take internally, we should also be doing topically. So I do put the Hishuwu and the Mucuna into the La Tierra Sagrada dry shampoo, since that's something that we're directly applying onto the scalp. So if you're taking it internally as well as externally, you're going to benefit even more. So hair treatments are another thing that I like to encourage. I think that this is something we can do all throughout the year, and I usually teach a lot about the importance of them, but during this seasonal shedding time, it's a really, really good opportunity to really up your hair treatment game. The one that I like to use, of course, is the La Tierra Sagrada treatment, because this is specifically geared towards getting the hair to grow. So if you can do it with the treatment, amazing. If you have other ones that you swear by, definitely use them. But this time specifically is a really important time to really focus on stimulating the scalp through massaging the oils into the scalp, leaving them on, and just letting them do their thing and work their magic. Detoxifying is a really important step to take when we're trying to deal with seasonal shedding. Detoxifying is a really great way to really open up the follicle and detox the pores on our scalps. So for those of you who've been following along, we did a DIY scalp scrub back in the new moon in Virgo. For those of you that are new, this is something that you could probably find online, how to do a DIY scrub. You can find some at the beauty supply. The scrubs are really, really great because what you're doing is you're getting into the scalp and you're breaking up any buildup that could be caused from environmental or chemicals or any of the products maybe that you're using that build up. It's just a really, really important step to take to open up the pores in the scalp and really cleanse them. And it's also really important to know what you're using and putting onto your scalp, because a lot of times we use products that completely clog our pores, and products that have a lot of chemicals in them tend to do this. So doing a scalp detoxifying or purifying or cleansing shampoo and conditioner is going to be really, really important this time. And if you can find a scalp scrub, I think it's going to be one of the best benefits that you can use in order to really get in there and break it all up before moving into any of the other steps. This deep cleansing helps the hair follicle open up, breathe, and also do its natural thing, which is grow new hair. There are many incredible scalp scrubs on the market. I love scalp scrubs for their ability to deeply detoxify the scalp. Another step is cut out the chemicals. Take a moment to really go in and look at all of your beauty products and see what it is that you're using that might be a big problem. A lot of times we use products just because we need the ability just to kind of like not fuss with our hair, and it's just like something that we've used for years, like this one mousse does this for my hair, this one gel does this for my hair. But the thing is a lot of times we just do these things out of habit without even looking at what is in the ingredient deck. And the ingredients are really important to reflect on, not because you have to cut them out entirely, but when you're doing these detoxifying steps and like these hair healing steps, the last thing that you want to do when you're opening up all of the follicles and the pores and stimulating and getting the blood flowing is then go in and clog the pores again with a bunch of toxic chemicals. So this is something just to be aware of on your own. Go into like your bathroom and check out your cabinet and just see the stuff that you're using on a daily basis, what's actually in there. And just make it a ritual to kind of clean it up one product at a time, or just take a little break, almost like a detoxification for your scalp and hair during this window in time, so your hair can actually do the shedding thing much quicker, and then the natural hair can also grow back much quicker as well. And the final step that we can connect with on a daily basis, or multiple times a day even, is the moment we start to see the hair come out, whether it's in our brushes or our combs or our towels after we get out of the shower, is just take a moment to breathe and relax. If you have a meditation practice, it's a really good way to help you just calm your nervous system and trust that everything is in the right natural flow. And then you don't have to worry about the over stress, which is like it just gets everything out of whack. It perpetuates the hair falling out, and it's just not going to be your friend. So my final thing is just take a deep breath, relax, and just know that this is just a cycle, and you're going to move through it, and it's all going to be okay.